Today we'll talk about your intimate health. I don't think I need to tell you why this is an important subject. A lot of women of any age suffer physically, emotionally, because of imbalances down there. And let's face it, like me, they know that they cannot really count on drugs to deal with it. Over the years, I have been helping hundreds of women to get rid of their recurring urogenitals issues. The exact issues their gynecologist couldn't help. I want to talk about vaginitis, yeast infections, recurrent cystitis, and other debilitating infections that we all have more or less suffered from in our lives, and for which we know how bad drugs are. Initially, when I wanted to help women solve this kind of problem, I tried to help them with their visible symptoms that are quite honestly painful to live with, especially when these infections seem irreducible. And because there is often more than just a local infection to treat, there is actually a whole set of factors to take into consideration, such as energetic, emotional, and metabolic predispositions that add to the management of your symptoms. And all this is well connected to your lifestyle, your love life, your self-esteem, and your access to material success. This is what we are going to dissect here. But first of all, I would like to ask you a question. What type of woman are you? Are you imprisoned by the idea of your duties, or are you free to choose your life? Do you suffer or enjoy your femininity? Do you suffer from your marital duty? Do you feel obliged to perform to satisfy your partner? And more importantly, are you among the victims of repetitive vaginal and urinary infections? Do you live in fear of breast cancer or other serious illness? Do you feel stuck with lack of financial independence? Do you suffer from your menopause and feel deprived of your partner's demands? I'll give you a few seconds to think about that. Okay, what type of woman are you? I think it should come. Okay. You're not alone. No, yeah, I wanted to tell you that a lot of women suffer from a lot of things, and a lot of women put their personal growth at the end of their life. This is because we are in a man's world that decides everything for us, intimidates us, impose medical procedures on us, and let us believe that there is nothing to do about it. But in reality, women are entitled to something else. So how many women know that they can master their intimate health from recurring infections, emotional well-being, upsets, how many know that they can really enjoy their love life and give a new dimension to their access to pleasure? And how many know that they have the right to protect and prevent a lot of things in terms of infections, and that would give them a lot of autonomy. They wouldn't need to run to the doctor every 5 minutes. Actually, a lot of women suffer and think it's normal. About 200 million women suffer every year from the effect of an overpopulation of candida in their body. And up to 72% of these women with vaginitis are never diagnosed, okay, because they never talk about it and they never ask for help. And also perhaps because they know that, the help in question is not so helpful, okay? So the most common infections are usually caused by bacteria, by candidiasis, by trichomonas, and most of the women with vaginal infections, fungal infections, they have it once in their life, at least, but they don't necessarily talk about it either. About 75% of women have at least one vaginal infection in their life. So these symptoms that we are not talking about, there are many who suffer unnecessarily from vaginitis without knowing it, okay? This is why it is very important to think about it when you suffer from, any type of itching, burning, irritation, painful penetration, discharge, loss of energy, loss of immunity, headache, mood swings, and a whole bunch of stuff, When you have all of that, usually there are chances you have an infection, vaginal infection, and you don't even know about it, because not all symptoms are visible. Because a lot of these symptoms, we've seen symptoms that are visible, and actually you can notice because you can feel it, but some you don't feel it, okay? Some are like, for instance, nervousness, anxiety, bad self-esteem, fatigue, apathy, depression, less of energy, loss of creativity, procrastination. So this is, you don't, make the link, okay, usually. And of course, if you don't make the link, you don't treat it. And if you don't treat it, you end up with, I don't know, antidepressants that have nothing to do in there. So why so many women suffer from it? But actually, it makes thousands of women who regularly suffer from yeast infections because the vagina has a protective bacterium that is easily eradicated by antibiotics, okay? Some drugs, chemotherapy, and, a lot of treatments, very, very common ones like cortisone, anything for diabetes, or even just pregnancy, taking the pill, some soap, obesity, and sweating. This makes everything, the right nest to let the candida grow and grow and grow, okay? Of course, when you suffer and you don't know where to get an actual efficient but gentle solution, you just might end up with an even worse solution. What can you trust? And you need relief, but you don't know what, and you don't want to risk take the risk of feeling worse. You don't know if it's going to be efficient and gentle, reliable, natural, non-toxic, truly curative. And you know that most of the time, if you take antifungal drugs, it won't help for a while, or it will come back, you know. It does the same effect as antibiotics, you know. It feeds the candida at the end of the day. Fortunately, we have essential oils. This is where the power of essential oils makes such a difference. And it's true that the power of essential oils to act at this level is huge, because essential oils have properties that cannot be found within the same medication or even in most. And furthermore, not only does it not give the chance for another infection to set up, but they go much further. They are antiviral most of the time, antimicrobial, antifungal, antiparasitic, anti-inflammatory, cell regenerating, antispasmodic, mucolytics. So it's against the yeast, and hypoallergenic and antiseptic. Okay, and they can even act when you need it, where you need it. Okay. So when we use an essential oil against inflammation, we might perfectly, in the same time, do something against bacteria, fungus, viruses, and free radicals. Of course, we can create synergies. This is what we do when we mix several essential oils together. We create a new, more efficient product each time, and that covers all the needs of healing. Naturally, it limits the proliferation of candidiasis in the body. And we need that. We don't want just something that, you know, gives the illusion of it's getting somewhere or better. We want something very easy to use and efficient. This is what happens when we are using a proper mix. Usually, I don't like to give ready-made mixes. I don't like to give my own blends. I think that everyone is able to do it, especially with what I explained in aromasoul therapy or in my last book, Breathe, Love, Heal. I give you ways of connecting to your needs energetically, and then you have the answer, the proper answer, the one that really you do need. But until you know how it works, you might need to have some help. And here is a blend that usually works for almost everyone, so you can still give it a try. It's made with tea tree, palmarosa, and thyme. And you just need to blend that in 5 ml of, you know, it's like a teaspoon of you know, aloe vera gel. And then you coat a tampon with that. And then you insert it in your vagina. Okay, that's very easy. And you can change it like every 3-4 hours, or you can even keep it all night and repeat it for several days. Ideally, you need to check that with you know, muscle response testing or a pendulum to see when you are all done, you know, when you continue or when you don't continue with it. Okay. If your itching extend to the outside of the vagina, you can use the same essential oils mixed in the gel or with a diaper rash type of cream, and apply it when you need externally. Okay. So the freedom of using it is so good. Each case of fungal infection is different. It is possible that your fungus is too advanced and you need a treatment by ovule, which does not prevent you from treating yourself with tea tree to raise your immunity and fight the fungus. But if you take care of your infection early enough, essential oils can prevent you from using drugs, provided, and I insist that you have the consistency to fight your fungus on all fronts. Usually, making sure that you don't stuff yourself with sugar. You cannot properly take care of what happens inside if you feed your fungus with bad food, alcohol, sugar, and stuff like that. So there is a whole bunch of things that you have to be consistent with in the same time. But I'd like to recall here all the power of this mixture and the freedom of use that they provide. So it's always very useful to have it ready. There is no side effect. It's easy to apply, and you can apply it even in the absence of symptoms. So if you have a doubt, if you think there is something wrong, you can still apply it and feel if there is a difference in your overall state, okay? So it's going to remove symptoms while waiting for test results. So for instance, while if you have an appointment with the doctor and you don't want to stay doing nothing, do that. You might completely end up, having, negative tests at the end. Huh? But at least you don't take any risk using that while waiting. It's effective and natural, and the ingredients have a proven therapeutic activity, which is on top of it. It's useful. It's not in this, you can do without the therapeutic activity, proven therapeutic activity. But anyway, this is indicated for both girls, pregnant women, breastfeeding women, and the elderly, okay? So it's in the same time protect and prevent. And it balances your pH level on the vaginal mucosa. So, and okay, I have to remember to tell you that, for those who have issues with lubrication, it acts also as a lubricant and reduce the risk of disease. So it's all good. You have just to have the right reflexes. You can apply also at the slightest symptoms of UTI or fungal infection. You can just simply apply several drops of tea tree essential oil on your belly, just like that, just below the belly button several times a day. Sometimes it's enough to stop it. You have to stop consuming any form of sugar and carbohydrate. You cannot touch any orange juice either. Ideally, you have to follow an anti-candida diet. So all of that is going to calm any itching caused by mycosis with any of the tea tree preparation on the tampon and outside. So for the UTIs, you have to know that 85% of UTIs are caused by bacteria, of course, Escherichia coli, also by Candida. And, most of the time it is Candida related. And if you take an antibiotic for UTI when it's Candida related, you're going to just feed your Candida, and it's going to increase the risk of infection. It's going to weaken your immunity, and you're going to be ready for the next UTI, okay? So fortunately, we have some weapons, and, here are some good habits that have to be combined. Taking the cranberry caps while you still eat sugar won't do. So of course, when they do trials of cranberry juice or cranberry caps on people who don't change their diet, it doesn't go anywhere. You have to be consistent. If you take cranberry caps, it's going to be useful, but you have to stop sugar on the other side. Don't drink sugary stuff, okay? So the cranberry works a sugar-free diet works. An anti-candida detox works. Avoid fruit juices, especially citrus, because it increases proliferation of bacteria in the urine. And what works very well is a sit bath in a baking soda, type of, you have to put if you make a little bath for you in a bathtub, you can put like about a cup of baking soda in there, and you sit in there, and you'll see how good it is. It is such a relief. Also, directly on the belly, there are some oils that you can apply on your skin without having to dilute it. Tea tree, geranium, sandalwood, the three of them are good for anything related to infections in the urogenital area. It works, okay? There are also things to consider on the psychological side. If you're angry at someone, usually someone involved in your love life, help yourself, let go, and be relieved emotionally by massaging the back of your neck and the shoulders with that little mix. It's usually with thyme and cedarwood and sandalwood, in a little bit of St. John's wort. That works temporarily. It's because usually most of the time you get that kind of infection once you are very pissed off. Don't forget that. You don't help yourself by being pissed off. So massage often for a long time. So to recap, if you regularly have urogenital infections and or UTIs, react smartly. Use essential oils to really cleanse your body. And most importantly, start an antifungal treatment like the one you find in my book, Anti-Candida Program. You have to have the reflex essential oils to avoid drugs. And the thing is, the more drugs you're going to use, the more candida you're going to have also. Don't forget that. Start a detox will have a positive impact on your emotions. And in the same time, it's going to be anti-inflammatory. Stay away from what feeds your candidosis. So sugar, anything fast food, of course, fruit juices, coffee, tea, caffeine, alcohol, okay? And get a new vision of yourself. Get rid of your guilt, if you have some. Stop punishing yourself for anything and decide to love and approve of yourself. Yeah, I know sometimes it takes some training to do that. You need some help also, perhaps. And the help, you can have it in there. It's a book that had tremendous success in the French-speaking community. According to one of my readers, Anne, she said it was probably the easiest anti-candida approach. It's not, a miracle pill. It is some rehab somewhere. It is to re-educate yourself, to eat something else and to think something else and to clean yourself. Most of the time, candida loves toxic places. It makes nice little hot nest for them. And if you get new habits that don't make it so comfortable, of course you will have less and less and less, and one day it will simply disappear. But you have to be consistent. Okay, so try that and change the way you take care of yourself. You're going to see the results.